Thank you for listening to BizPod with me, Paul.
And me, Rachel.
Our weekly business English podcast where we talk about the news, social media, and hot topics from a business point of view. You'll get a podcast and links to the articles we discuss. This way you can share your thoughts too. Join us as we discuss what's on our minds this week.
So, Paul, have you been digitally multitasking this week?
No, never.
Never?
Never. I don't multitask.
No, I would say you do sometimes. We're multitasking right now. We've got more than one screen open. We are speaking, we are checking the article, we are watching our recording on the other screen that the sound's okay. That's multitasking.
No, we're doing one thing. We just have several different tools available and open for us to do one thing.
Okay.
So I wouldn't say we're multitasking.
Okay.
I think multitasking is perhaps when you're doing two very separate or very different things at the same time.
Like when I watch TV and also do some knitting and crochet when we're watching a movie.
That could be multitasking. Yeah, okay. You're doing two different things.
Okay.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm. All right. So do you think digital multitasking is ruining everyone's lives? Or ruining everyone's work?
Yeah, well, that's what our article is about today. Digital multitasking is ruining your work. Well, I don't know. I mean, you and I are of the generation, we grew up without screens, without computers. And I still remember my first job. I went into the office and there were no computers. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's how old I am. Mm-hmm. You know, we had offices without computers in those days. So I don't know. I don't think, for me, I don't spend anywhere near the amount of time on using a screen in the way that this article is talking about. Mm-hmm. But what about you?
I don't know. Some days I use it more than others. I try not to turn my computer on unless I really have to, unless I've got to go to work to do stuff.
Yeah.
I look at my phone more than I would like to. I'm trying to reduce that, and every week I get a little yay. Like today, I got a notification I used my phone 10 minutes less last week than the week before. So, I'm slowly trying to reduce it.
Yeah.
I don't think it's good for us. I have noticed that I feel like it's a moment of luxury if I get the opportunity to focus on one task and actually spend some time doing it, whether that task uses a screen or not. If I can focus on just one thing and not be interrupted by messages and emails and notifications, whatever, I feel it's a moment of luxury.
Okay, I understand.
How about you?
Yeah, I kind of agree with that because, I suppose we all have many, many different things to do throughout the day in terms of our jobs. Mm-hmm. And for us, we have many different things, but we also have sort of specific time slots where we have to do other things. Mm-hmm. So sometimes jobs or things that you want to do that might take longer, you have to start, then you have to stop it to do something else. Yeah. Then you might restart it again 3 or 4 hours later, or maybe even the next day. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think that can be frustrating, I suppose. Mm-hmm. Do you ever try and carry on that task while you're also doing another task? That, for me, is very tricky.
Yeah, sometimes I do, and I later regret it because I have to go back and check what I've done because I've not done it as well because I wasn't 100% focused.
Okay.
In the article, it talks about you not totally getting messages or totally understanding things if you're multitasking, and I agree with that. If I'm trying to read something whilst doing something else, no, I've got to focus on reading. Reading in particular, I need to just focus on that one thing I'm reading and not have anything else interrupt me. Otherwise, I have to read it again, or I read it and think I've understood it and find out later I've got the total wrong end of the stick. Yeah. Particularly with short messages. When you glance at a short message quickly and then you're like, hang on a minute, let me read that properly. There's a number of times, Teams messages, and I've replied in a certain way, and the other person's like, what? And he's like, oh, damn it, I didn't read the message. Or I didn't read it properly. And that's because I was distracted and I was actually doing something else.
Okay.
What about you?
Yeah, I kind of agree with you there. I mean, I don't really understand people who live their lives on their devices, on their screens. You know, I'm quite amazed at the number of hours that it talks about. You know, in Spain, people spend on average of 5 hours, 45 minutes online. But that's not working online. That's like social media, gaming, watching videos. And I first of all, I don't know where they find nearly 6 hours time a day to do things like that. But I also don't understand why they would want to do that either.
I mean, you need to have the demographics of who these people are, what age they are. You know, if they're young, single, not married, no kids. Yeah, so, they might even not even be employed, you know what I mean? They've got a little bit more free time.
Okay, that's true.
But I don't know about you. I have also noticed, though, that when there are younger students, and I'm talking people up to the age of about 25, they've got the attention span of a gnat.
Okay,
when you have a class with them, they cannot seem to just sit and focus and look at the screen. They've got to be answering messages and whatever while they and to be really honest, that's a little bit rude. That's a little bit disrespectful to the
teacher.
Yeah, and the other people, it's usually in group classes. They think they can get away with doing something else. While the camera's on, you know, we're not stupid. We can hear your keyboard clicking. We can see your eyes going to your phone. We're not idiots. You know, and I think they're undermining their own ability to learn and improve. I don't think multitasking is good for you if you want to progress. I mean, how would you say that multitasking affects people in the workplace?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I've always been of the opinion that multitasking has never been a good idea. I mean, it was a trend back in the 1990s, maybe. I don't remember when the idea of multitasking really took off. But for me, multitasking is just a person doing many different things badly. So you're never giving the task you're doing 100% of your attention. Whereas I prefer to do one thing at a time. You know, you may not finish that thing, but I do one thing at a time. Give it 100% of your focus and do your best. Then, you know, you might have to stop doing that thing to do something else, but then you come back to it in the future. So I've never been a multitasker.
I think it was something to do with the yuppies, you know, when the mobile phones came in and this whole technology and computer started, and that was, they were selling it saying like, you know, you'll become more efficient. You can do 5 things at once. And it's like, it's not a good idea.
Yeah, but you don't really do 5 things at once. You never actually get anything achieved, I think, if you're multitasking like that.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes you can spend all day on the computer picking up messages, doing this, that, the other, and you get to the end of the day and you think, what have I actually achieved?
Yeah.
And you just feel like you've been firefighting, batting off the emails and the requests and the calls, and it's just like, no. Yeah. I mean, I'm listening to a book at the moment.
Okay.
I think it's called How to Make Yourself Bulletproof. We saw a video on YouTube, didn't we, on Diary of a CEO, of this former special services woman. She was in the president's protection team. Anyway, she's wrote this book. And there's one thing she talks about your focus. And she says about emails popping up and stuff. And she says, you've got to have this mental fortitude to protect yourself. She talks all about different ways of protection. Obviously, yes, some are about, you know, when you go in a cinema, look for the exit in case there's a gunman in there, which is particular to America.
Yeah.
But she talks about mental protection, which I thought was really good. And she says about when an email or a message arrives, you know, is it really urgent? Do I have to do anything with it now? And she talks about, you know, maybe you've got somebody sending you emails who's particularly aggressive or whatever. And she says, just leave it for 24 hours. And she talks you through the whole process of the person who sent you the message will be going through.
Okay.
And she says, any kind of response that you could give if you responded immediately is not as good as making that person stew for 24 hours.
Wait.
Because they've sent this snippety message to you and you don't respond. And you don't even show that you've read it. And they're like, well, did she receive it? And so the best thing she said is just, so maybe that 24 hour, just turn your messages off. Don't look at your emails. Focus on the things that make your heart sing.
Yeah. Deal with it tomorrow.
Yeah, it'd be better for your mental health.
Yeah, I agree.
I'll put a link to the Diary of a CEO YouTube podcast that they did with this woman. Then if you want to listen to the book.
Yeah. I reckon that's definitely a good idea. I mean, that's advice I've given you on several occasions. When you've received messages or emails, you don't know what to do. Well, just do nothing until tomorrow.
I know, but it's easier said than done. My brain stews.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm better at it now, though.
Yeah, you are better at it now. Well,
if in doubt, don't.
If in doubt, don't.
Yeah. Don't do anything. If in doubt, don't. Just don't touch it. Don't read it. Don't do it. It's lovely. Yeah. I love that.
Okay. Well, let's finish off with fighting the effects of digital multitasking. So there's a list of 7 things that you can do if you want to fight the effects, if you want to have happier, healthier, more balanced life. First one, reduce your screen time. Turn your phones off, turn your computers off, turn your gadgets off.
Turn the Wi-Fi off.
Unless you want to watch TV. No, don't go as far as turning the Wi-Fi off. Just turn all your screens off. Yeah. Spend time outdoors and in nature. That's something we love.
We do love that. Yeah.
Number 3, do exercise.
We do love
physical activity, bit of weightlifting, bit of lifting those weights.
Yeah, resistance training,
Ensure you have good sleep hygiene.
Yeah.
I think we have,
We get up at the same time, we go to bed at the same time.
Pretty much, yeah.
Follow a balanced diet. That's something we've believed in for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, build routines. I think we have routines to help us do our work quite effectively.
Yeah, it's taken us some time to work out a schedule that works for us, hasn't it? What days work best.
And it has to be, you have to adapt your routines and your schedules.
Be flexible.
Just be flexible. And number 7, adapt your environment. Yeah, I mean, that's how it really is talking about having a place for work and a place for not working. So,
which is more important for a lot of people who work from home these days.
Yeah, especially if you're working from home. I mean, we both have like offices, which are basically just rooms where we go to work.
Yeah, so you get that mental going to work, coming home from work.
Yeah.
But I don't think it does your back any good sitting on a kitchen chair at the kitchen table.
No, or working on a sofa. No. For an hour, maybe you can get away with it, but not
on a regular basis. You need a proper office chair, office desk, in a space that's quiet, that you mentally are going to work. Yeah. Don't carry your laptop around. Leave your laptop in your workspace.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Well,
that's what works for us.
Yeah, that works for us. I'm sure it works for lots of other people, but some people who sort of work from home some days and then work in the office, maybe they haven't got the space for a home office, dedicated home office, so they do have to work at the kitchen counter occasionally. But
maybe they get most of their work done on the train, on the commute to work.
Yeah, but the main thing, adapt to what suits you.
Yes, exactly. No one solution is good for everybody. You've got to find something that's personal for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right, well, have a look at the article. Listen to the podcast with the Diary of the CEO. Maybe check out the book. And
what's the book called?
I think it's How to Make Yourself Bulletproof.
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 Yeah, becoming bulletproof or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not all of the book is really relevant if you're a European.
Okay. Yeah.
Because we don't carry guns, basically. But it's interesting. It's interesting.
The ideas are good.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes.
Okay. See you all next week.
Bye.
Thanks for listening. We hope you liked our podcast. And please don't forget to subscribe and stay connected with us. Until next time, goodbye.